Chapter 4, Subchapter 5, Gift Number 2, The Nose Knows. It was during puberty, at around 14 years old, that I began to notice something different in the air at the compound. I would walk into the communal dining room, and beyond the usual smells of the kitchen, there were odd and out-of-place scents. Once I asked one of my cousins, "Have you noticed it often smells like vanilla here in the dining room?" He looked at me, puzzled, and said, "I don't know what you're talking about. It smells the same as always." I would be sitting in a classroom when suddenly an odor of garbage would fill the air, even though no windows were open. Walking along the paths of the compound, I would pass residents and catch all sorts of strange scents. One time, even the distinct stench of rotting eggs. When I finally started to suspect what this might mean, I waited until my mother was in a good mood to ask her about it. "Our little gifts. Does it ever affect our sense of smell?" I asked. She reflected for a moment before answering. "Yes, my father said his father could smell the secrets of people." "Smell what secrets?" I pressed. "Sapte pacate capital," she replied. "What does that mean?" I asked. "It's Romani for the 7 deadly sins," she said. "That's exactly what my father told me, and now I'm telling you." "So you have the Romani gift of smell?" "Yes, I think I do," I admitted. "Don't tell anyone or they will hate you," she said. This was her standard warning any time I asked about the gift. "Sons, it seems this gift runs in our family. Let me tell you, it took me a long time to figure out what these smells represented. I have carefully considered what to share with you in this book and what I want you to discover on your own, but this heightened sense of smell is something I will guide you through, as it took me years to understand its details. The fact that I can discern these smells when others can't tell me that my olfactory nerve is communicating with another part of my brain. This has to be. There was no true vanilla in the air. Whatever it was that my nose was smelling was triggering this perception. After years of contemplation, I formed a hypothesis that it was the limbic system, possibly as that system includes the amygdala. I know this isn't very scientific, but why the amygdala? Because it was during my time at university that I began to uncover the deeper mysteries of my gypsy gift, and that focused on the amygdala. Here's what I have learned. People within a 1 to 2 meter range will start triggering smells in your mind. If multiple people are in that range, the scents tangle together. I have never figured out how to separate them, which makes this part of the gift particularly challenging. I have always felt that there must be a way to untangle these smells, but it was never overly important to me. I have identified 7 distinct smells. The pleasant ones: vanilla, cinnamon, clove, and burning wood. The unpleasant ones: rotting agricultural waste, rotting eggs, and an extreme sourness similar to curdled milk. Don't worry, you will get used to them, and in time you will learn to block them, if you wish. Vanilla. This was the first scent I identified, and it was the easiest to pinpoint. Vanilla, I found, was associated with sexual arousal or subconscious focus on sex. Over the years, this smell has given me significant insight when interacting with women. I associated it with lust. Cinnamon. The scent of cinnamon typically meant the person was thinking about food. While some might connect this to gluttony, I don't. It seemed more aligned with simple hunger or meal anticipation than excessive indulgence. So no, it doesn't quite fit the mold of a deadly sin. Rotting eggs. This was by far my least favorite smell. I noticed it early in puberty, alongside vanilla and cinnamon. Rotting eggs were tied to jealousy or envy. I would often detect it during conversations with cousins or peers. However, I wouldn't say it signified envy alone. Even light-hearted jealousy could produce this scent. Over time, I found that the smell varied in intensity depending on the depth of the person's feelings. Learning to turn this sensory gift on and off was a tremendous relief. Burning wood. I love this scent. Even now, it reminds me of traveling in Europe with a jet-set crowd after university. Skiing, après-ski gatherings with wine and grand fireplaces. It evokes memories of a carefree, happy-go-lucky time. Sadly, I later realized that this scent was tied to anger, including wrath. Over the years, I noticed that with extreme anger or hatred, a person's lumi would vanish entirely. Rotting agricultural waste. This is a very specific smell, sickly sweet like rotting fruit or vegetables. It's distinct from the general stench of garbage, which is a mix of decaying smells. It took me years to decode this one, but I eventually linked it to laziness or sloth. I often encountered it when I began working in an office setting. I would notice the scent around staff members who lacked diligence. Sure enough, those with this smell were often poorly regarded for their work ethic. If I had gone into human resources as a career, I think I could have evaluated an entire team in a couple of days based solely on this scent. Cloves. At first, I had no idea what this smell was. I had never eaten cloves, and I didn't know the word for them in any language. After detecting it many times, I went to an Asian supermarket and sniffed through their dried spices until I identified it. For years, I struggled to categorize this scent. Eventually, I realized it was linked to greed. Unsurprisingly, this became one of the most common smells in my mind, as humanity seems perpetually driven by greed. Extreme sourness. This one puzzled me the most. Even now, I'm not entirely sure, but I suspect it relates to pride or arrogance, the final of the so-called deadly sins. I never fully proved this to myself, but I came to associate the smell with people who needed to chill and relax. Over time, I simply avoided individuals who carried this scent. Sons, as I teach you to unlock your gifts, you won't need detailed explanations of how to adjust people through touch. You will simply know. It will come as naturally to you as a bird instinctively knowing how to glide in a headwind. However, this heightened sense of smell is something I'm delighted to share with you. It is a fascinating aspect of our gift, and I hope my findings help you navigate it as you come into your own.